Hey y'all, we are going to continue talking about triangle congruence theorems. We got two more today. This time we're dealing a little bit more with the sides of the triangles. So the first one that you should add to your flipbook here is the side-side-side theorem. And all that says is that if I know that all three pairs of corresponding sides are congruent to each other, then I can say that the triangles are congruent. So here I have side AB and side ED congruent, side BC and side EF, side AC and side DF. I have three pairs of congruent sides. Without knowing anything about their angles, I can say that these two triangles are congruent. Another one to add is the side-angle-side theorem. So now I have two pairs of congruent sides. I have AB and EF. I have AC and DF. And then the angle that's formed by those pairs of sides, so the angle between the sides, angle A and angle F, are congruent. Then I have the side-angle-side theorem. And without knowing anything else about these triangles, I can say that they're congruent to each other. It's important to point out that when I know two triangles are congruent, then I can assume all of the other pieces. So angle B is congruent to angle E, and so forth. So let's look at these two triangles here and decide whether or not they're congruent by side-side-side, side-angle-side, or perhaps we don't have enough information. So right now I have one pair of sides that I know are congruent. And anytime we see two right angles, we can say they're congruent. We know they're congruent because they're both 90 degrees, and being the same measure means you're congruent. So this angle and this angle are congruent. And if you remember from lesson 21A, when we had a side that was shared in both triangles, we could say that that side is congruent in both triangles. So here we have two pairs of sides and the angles that are between them all congruent. So we have side-angle-side. So these two triangles are congruent by the side-angle-side theorem. Let's take a peek at these two. It's not good enough just to see two pairs of sides and a pair of angles. We have to kind of analyze what we have. I have one pair of sides, another pair of sides congruent, and then I have a pair of angles congruent. But I need to look closer. If I look closer, in this left triangle, the angle is between the two sides, which is what I need to have side-angle-side. Over here, this angle that's congruent in this triangle to the one in the other is not between the two sides. So I don't have side-angle-side. I have two pairs of congruent sides, but both of the angles that are congruent are not between the two sides. I would need to know that this angle was congruent to this angle. But I'm not told that, so I do not have enough information to say that these triangles are congruent. We'll do one more together. Here I have one pair of sides congruent to each other, one pair of corresponding sides. There's another pair of corresponding sides. And I also have the reflexive property showing up here again. Since these two triangles are kind of smashed together, they share this side. That means that side is congruent in both triangles. So I have three pairs of congruent sides, which tells me these triangles are congruent to each other by side-side-side. So I know that all the angles and all the corresponding sides in these two triangles are congruent because of the side-side-side theorem. So pause here check these two triangles out and decide whether or not they're congruent and by which theorem. So I've got a pair of sides here congruent, a pair of sides there congruent, and then like I said before, anytime you see right angles, you can say that they're congruent because all right angles are congruent to each other. They're always 90. These two right angles in both triangles are between the two sides we're using, so I do have side, angle, side. So I've got one U-do for you to do, same as the previous 4 questions. Make sure you send me your answer on the Google form, and we'll do some practice in class.